So what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. The book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled Dating, Chemistry, and Reciprocity. So I'm clowning with my homegirl last night. We was talking on the phone, and she's like, "What about chemistry? Don't you think chemistry is important?" And I was like, "Hell no." And then she's like, "What? You don't think chemistry?" I said, "Man, chemistry is a lie. Chemistry is a fallacy." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Let me tell you something about women in chemistry. This is women in chemistry go like this. She could say she has chemistry with you, and that chemistry turns her on and makes her like you. If the sex is whack, she don't have chemistry all of a sudden. She don't. I don't. You know what? It's just I don't feel the same thing. I know why. Because you don't have, because that chemistry just didn't quite matter when he wasn't hitting that thing right." And I was like, but the same rules apply. Like, if you reverse that, a woman to say she doesn't have chemistry with a guy, and I just can't feel it. I just don't, something about him. I really don't have chemistry. Mess around and let that guy have sex, and he actually hit it right. All of a sudden, I don't know why I like him so much. I love him. It's something about him. It's something about the way he dropped that thing in them walls. That's what it's something about. All of a sudden, he just smashed the chemistry right into you, right? And she's sitting there chuckling like, you might have a point. I'm like, might? What you mean, might? Chemistry is bull. I was like, I said, the thing about it is, same thing when you meet a guy with money. Is it, do you have chemistry with that guy? No, you just made up the chemistry because you want some money. I was like, that's all that was. You meet a guy and he's whatever you physically attracted to. You like, I just know we have a chemistry. No, you don't. You just chose him. That's all that is. Chemistry is when you chose somebody. So, clowning as usual, right? As usual. And she was like, "Well, what's more important than chemistry?" I was like, "Well, what's more important than chemistry is, being courteous, having manners, being respectful, having integrity, being considerate to that person, right?" And she's like, "But that's quite simple." I said, "Yeah, but see, people skip over simple for chemistry. People skip over doing those things or being those things just if we have chemistry. You're not, even if you don't have chemistry with a person, you skip over being those things because you don't have chemistry." And she's like, I can't. Yeah, that does happen. I'm like, I'm not a genius here. I'm not a guru of love. I can tell you that. I'm the Thanos of love, not the guru. No, get this love out of here. No, but it sparked into another little thought process and conversation where chemistry is a problem because if you don't have chemistry, there is no reciprocity. And this is why, it overrules, being courteous, being considerate, being affectionate to a person, respecting a person, you know what I'm saying? Because until you have chemistry, you're not good, and having integrity, you're not going to have those things until you find this magical chemistry. And that's where the problem lies. Because I was telling her, I said, I've had my share of love, but some say I'm damn good. That's not the point. But this is what I'm getting at. What happens is, all of a sudden, now that you want to care about somebody and reciprocate and love somebody after they didn't smash the chemistry into you in the bedroom, it's a turn off. Because you should have been those simple things up front. You should have been those simple things up front. And we were talking, and she said, some women there are some women who could put sex aside and actually be in a relationship and not be sexually satisfied. I said that's the smart ones. That's what we call the smart ones. She's like, how you figure that? I said, listen, women like lifestyle. You know, you don't hear women talking about how much they care about a man. You know, how much, you know, when you hear these young ladies and grown women talk about men, they don't talk about how the character of a man, the heart of a man, the things he did to that made her fall in love, that were non-sexual, and it had to do with his integrity to how he treated his fellow human beings on the planet. They don't talk about that stuff. I will say this: married women do. Like the way that man treats people in public and the private things that she finds out makes her love him even more. But as far as single, they don't. And what winds up happening is you have these situations where, you know, they don't really take into consideration that these guys know all you love is their lifestyle. So when women choose lifestyle over sex, it makes sense. Because I was like, you know, let y'all tell it, you know, if the sex is bad, there are women who are literally in relationships because they're having good sex, and it trumps all of their decision making. I've seen women in a lot of struggle relationships because, you know, the sex is good, and they complain to everybody about how bad it is, but the dude hitting it, so she ain't going nowhere. And then she's mad at how other people are living it, but it's like, that's what you wanted. It's not like you love the man, you love the sex. So the sex got you. You hooked. That's your drug. But other women are addicted to lifestyle. So sex is just something that happens that they have to do to maintain a lifestyle. Kind of, you know, low prostitution to high prostitution, low end prostitution to high end prostitution. And the thing about it, at the end of the day, you know, I said those were the smart women because, you know, an orgasm ain't gonna feed you. An orgasm is not gonna keep you comfortable at night. You know, but there are women who will double back and go creeping and cheating for the sex and blow these relationships, and then not understanding that you know, you might not get the type of guy that you losing on the next go round. And kind of spawned this conversation to the point where we were talking about you know, like you meet a woman, she can tell you, a lot of attractive women can tell you they've been with a plethora of men. I've been with a doctor, I've been with a lawyer, I've been with an athlete, I've been with an entertainer, you know, I've been with a banker, I've been with this and that. And then you start to think, and as a guy, you start to like, you've been with all these kind of people, and nobody saw nothing in you? Or is it what they saw in you, they knew to leave alone. They knew to leave you alone. And, you know, that comes up because they didn't have chemistry, quote unquote, and there was no reciprocity. And I got to get to this reciprocity part and nail this part down before I get out of here. See, a lot of women think reciprocity is just sex. And what happens is they don't do anything. They do the bare minimum as far as reciprocating. You know, I left you a note on the table. I said thank you. What else you gonna do though? Like, because what's happening is sisters don't realize that the one thing guys can see is the effort that you put into people that you quote unquote have chemistry with. And what winds up happening is when you talk about these stories about what you did and what you used to do, and when you had chemistry with this guy, you was able to, you flew from New York to L.A. just to kiss him on the cheek, and now all of a sudden you with this guy, and you know you can't walk across the street to give him a brownie. You know, if he's starving, like he could be fixing your car, and you'd be like, "It's 130 degrees outside. I'm not giving him no water. He grown man. He just gonna have to sweat it out, and hopefully he make it. But he need to fix my car." And that right there becomes a major problem, because they're very same guys like, wow, you couldn't you the things you expect of me in this way, there is no female equivalent to reciprocate. There in I say it like this: there is a female way to reciprocate, but there's no way as a female you're going to do it. You not willingly. Somebody has to shame you or guilt you or put you in a position to say, well, you know, quid pro quo, quid pro quo, quid pro quo. That you know, it ain't gonna get done if you don't do this. And then women feel like, wow, is this a business? Absolutely, because you know, since everybody realized that marriage is a business, we realize our interactions has become a business, because the chemistry is fake and the reciprocity is only you're only getting what you negotiate. And I think people are having a problem with that now, so it's getting interesting, you know. And then people don't want to admit to the idea that, you know, they keep saying the juice ain't worth the squeeze, and it's a lot of guys who are looking at it differently. Like, if you're not gonna do anything, you got no value. So, and I think that involves into the commitment aspect, where women are looking for commitment in marriage and this, that, and the third. And it's like, but you're not putting your value on the table. Like, God, you want this commitment, these relationships, and these marriages from these men, but you're not giving them a reason to actually want to be committed to you, because you're not doing anything to keep them to stay, you know. But you know, and if you think sex is enough, obviously you can't see how this hookup culture is screaming that it's not. So you know, I'm done. I got to go. Yeah.